Islands in the sun.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, and I'm Jinele.
And welcome to Cooking
in Paradise.
So today we are going to show you how to make a really popular Trinidadian lunch, stewed chicken. And with that,
we're going to be making a side of macaroni pie, also known as mac and cheese. And we're also going to be making fried plantains, right?
yes, super sweet and delicious.
So delicious.
But before we get started, as a custom, we're going to do this real Trini style. We always start off with a drink.
So we're going to have a shot of our favorite whiskey. Cheers, welcome to the show, and let's get this dish started.
Cheers. So to begin our first and our main dish, the stewed chicken, what we'd like to do is, right here I have some vegetable oil, brown sugar, that's pure cane sugar, and this is soy sauce. In Trinidad we call it Siao, which I believe it's a brand that we carry there. It's a thicker version of the soy sauce that you'll find in the regular supermarket. So what I'd like to do first is pour in a hot pan a little bit of oil. Now we don't want too much. That's probably about 2 tablespoons, and you want to make sure that the pot is a little bit on the medium to hot side, because you want that oil to really get nice and warm. Okay, so once you have your oil that's hot in your pot, you want to pour in your brown sugar and just sort of mix it around a little bit. You just want it to get all saturated in that oil. So what you're trying to do is get it all nice and brown and bubbly. And this pot that I'm using here, it's really synonymous with Trinidadian cooking. We use it from cooking stews to curry to soups, and it's really great at handling this type of heat and carrying the heat throughout the pot in your cooking process. So we have the sugar is now at this perfect point of a little bubbly, it's getting brown, and you notice the browning process is what's going to give your chicken that brown stewed look. So we have to kind of keep an eye on this because you don't want to burn the sugar. And right now it's looking like I want to give it 1 more minute or so. I'm just going to turn it a little bit. Be very careful. It may splatter. And you see that color right there? It's sort of this rich chocolate brown. That's what we're looking for. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in this seasoned chicken that we did with our green seasoning. And then you want to make sure and stir immediately. So you're distributing all of that beautiful brown sugar into every piece of seasoned chicken. And it smells like heaven in here already. What I want to do with this now is I want to add a little bit of water, and what that's going to do is slowly cook this chicken for us, so I don't have to keep going back at the pot. I'm just going to add the same I'm going to add the water in the same bowl that I had before. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the level of water that you're adding, it does not go above the level of the chicken. So I would say that's just about right. And you just stir that up a little bit more, make sure it's all, again, evenly distributed. Nice and all mixed up. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a cover on this and just leave the cover a little bit, slightly ajar from not completely covering the pot. We're gonna do this. That's how my mother taught me to do. So next we're gonna go ahead with Jinele, and she's gonna show you how to make her famous macaroni pie.
And hi guys, I'm getting started on the macaroni pie right now. So earlier on, I boiled a pack of macaroni elbows, as you can see here, and I'm gonna get started and put in a can of evaporated milk into the boiled macaroni elbows. This really helps get everything creamy and get it going in the oven when I put it to bake for approximately like 35 to 40 minutes. Next up, we're gonna get adding the cheese over here. And this is about like 2 cups of cheese that we're gonna add to the 1 package of elbow macaroni. And then next up, we're gonna do a little black pepper, and we're gonna do a little salt, just for flavoring. And for seasoning, as you guys know, you always have to season every step of the way. Then I usually add a little ground mustard to my recipe, so I just put usually like 1/4 teaspoon or a little splash of it here. Then next up, I'm gonna put a little ketchup in there for a little sweetness to the macaroni pie. It actually gives it a good flavoring when it everything is baked and the cheese is all melted in there. So it's a little good tip that you guys can use at home. Then next up, we have a tradition in Trinidad called pepper sauce, and I'm actually just gonna use some one of my favorite store brand pepper sauce. They usually make it homemade in Trinidad, but since I don't have time right now, I'm just gonna use the store-bought one. And you just put a splash of it, again, just for seasoning and for flavoring. Trust me, when everything comes together, it's delicious and it's really, really good. I can't wait to hear all of your comments and all of your feedback. And then again, just for a little flavoring, I'm just going to sprinkle some garlic powder in there. I'm already salivating looking at this right now. So then we start mixing. So you mix all of your ingredients together that I just showed you. Kim, how's your pot coming along?
I'm sorry, I was just having a drink while she was enjoying herself here. So what we're gonna do is take a look at the pot right now. It's actually coming along pretty good. Now we have little bubbling action going on with the water that we've put in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it another turn. And if I didn't mention before, you wanna have your pot on about a medium to high heat, because we want this to thoroughly get really hot and bubbly, and that means that all our chicken is cooking really nicely and evenly. I'm just gonna turn it and put the cover back on, and we can go back to Jinele.
So guys, now that we've mixed all of our ingredients into our macaroni pie here, we are going to just do a little taste test before we add it into the oven, just to make sure it's a-okay and everything is going to be combined and really, really good once it's out of the oven. I'm pretty excited to try this. Kim, would you like to be our taste tester with me as well?
Sure. Oh
Cheers.
Gosh, it looks so good.
I know.
Mmm. So like you made the elbows sort of al dente.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little chewy, and then I could taste a little bit of the pepper sauce in the background. I taste a little bit of the mustard, and you also added
the garlic powder.
Yes, the garlic powder.
Yep, and the carnation milk. So once everything is combined into the oven, it's going to be one creamy goddess of a dish, and it's so delicious. And I'm also going to be adding some shredded cheese to the top of the dish before I add it into the oven. So Kim, can you please do me a favor and just spray the dish for me?
Sure.
So earlier today I lined a cooking tray with some aluminum foil, and I'm just adding some cooking spray, so you know, at the end when I'm done with the macaroni pie, it's easy to kind of cut and serve to your friends and family members. So you just pour this in here, just like that. Look at how beautiful that looks. Wait until you see when it gets out of the oven. It's gonna be even more beautiful.
Here, I'll take the bowl.
Thank you. You just kind of even things out in the dish here, just to make sure it's level and you have the same kind of consistency going across the dish. And then for the final step, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to sprinkle on some cheese. I have the oven being preheated right now. Once the oven is done preheating, I'm just going to sprinkle on some cheese, and then I'm going to toss this into the oven to bake for about like 35 to 40 minutes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is make some sweet fried plantains, and I know that you have seen these in many different variations. So this is what we're going to start with. Now, yes, it looks like a banana. We call it, this is a different type, so we call it a plantain, and you're looking for this sort of darkish brown to black skin. And actually the darker it is, the sweeter and more ripe and more delicious it's going to taste. If you want to get this a little bit more ripe, you can actually buy it ahead of time, let it sit on your counter in the sun for a couple of days, and you know what, it gets to that color where you really it's really almost like so sweet when you bite into it when you cook it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and score it this way and just cut that part off, and then slowly sort of peel that skin off like this. Now here we go, and that is all done. I'm going to cut it on a bit of a bias here just for presentation, and if you can see, it's probably about maybe half an inch or so. You want some sort of thickness to it because the crust is going to be nice and crunchy, and the inside is going to be super sweet and soft. And there you go. And in the meantime, we're going to be heating up some oil. And Janelle, how's that going?
It's going great. I think I see the legs in the oil when you know it's like kind of really kind of hot and it's kind of ready for the plantains. But just so you know, we coated this this pan with like, you know, half an inch of oil, just to give you an idea of the amount of oil that's in the pan right now. As you can probably see, the oil is coming together. You don't want it to overheat too much. You want it to be the right temperature, so you kind of really get that good sort of crust on the outside of the plantain, and also, as Kim mentioned, you know, the sweetness of and the juiciness of that plantain on the inside. But you definitely want that crust on the outside, and you know, as they say, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Okay, so we've cut up all our plantains, and the oil that Janelle's been heating up so nicely is ready for us to go. So we're going to go ahead and gently place these. And you want the oil to be nice and sort of medium to hot. The hotter the better. So you want to hear that little bit of a sizzle there. That's what we're looking for.
That's how you know they're getting going.
And you want to leave them one side down, let them cook for until, I would say, about 5 to 7 minutes, until that piece is nice and browned on that side, and then you flip them.
And you don't want to overcrowd the pot because that usually reduces the temperature of the oil. So just keep that in mind. Depending on the size of what your plantains are that you kind of cut up, you can kind of adjust the temperature as needed throughout the entire process. Just a little tip here, because you want, you know, some yummy, you know, crispy on the outside bananas, but the fried plantains, but then you want them like, you know, soft on the inside. You want that consistency going. So we're just gonna leave these here for a little bit. Kim, how's your pot coming along with your stewed chicken?
Well, it's really bubbling, and it is ready to, we're gonna do a little bit of additional ingredients at this point, and I think we're at the point where we're ready to do that. So as you can see, the chicken has been cooking for some time, and it's probably very well cooked at this point. I mean, you could turn it off, but us Trinis know we like to go the extra mile. We like to season it up some more. So what I have here is, again, so we talked about this sort of our soy sauce, our siao. We're gonna pour that in there, and it's just a splash. I would say about a tablespoon or so. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in this ketchup. And again, this is just, again, to sweeten it. It's sort of going to work nicely with that macaroni pie. And we're going to go ahead here and put some red beans. Your favorite can of red beans is fine. Even the small red beans is great. But you want to wait till it's sort of like when your chicken is about the medium point of cooking to add the soy sauce, the ketchup, and the beans. And now I'm going to go ahead and stir that all nicely together. Make sure it is well mixed up and incorporated. And then, again, the heat, as I mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you before, but it should be on like a medium to high. So you're going to get that bubble starting again. And now we're going to leave it with no cover. And then we're going to check on the plantains and turn them.
Hey guys, so now with the fried plantains have been going. They've been frying for about 5-7 minutes. And I'm just going to show you one here that I'm going to start flipping over. You want that color. Look how beautiful it is. Look at how bubbly it is over there with that oil. And you're just going to start flipping them and let them go for another, couple of minutes, probably like 3 to 4 minutes, I would say. And then I think they're ready to be plated and ready for a side dish. Look how beautiful they are. Oh, do you hear them going in that pot? Oh. So here we have our finished macaroni pie dish that just came out of the oven. We had it on the medium shelf for about 20 minutes. Then we moved it up to the top shelf. Do you see how beautiful and even color that is, and how brown and the cheese is all melted and everything is combined together? So the next up, Kim, what's going on with your dish?
Well, that looks really delicious.
Does it? Doesn't it?
She makes this really good. I mean,
Oh,
I've had
thank
this
you.
so many times.
I can't wait to try the stewed chicken also.
And it works so nicely because you
Yep.
have that little bit of sweet, right? A little bit of savory going.
Yep,
working
and you got a
together.
little spice going on as well. Just keep that in mind. And just know that these flavors are all going to marry really nicely together once it's all plated and everything is all dished. So Kim's going to finish up her stewed chicken, and then we're going to get our dish plated.
So right now the stewed chicken has been cooking for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. As you can see, the chicken is just falling off the bone. It is tender. The beans are fully cooked. And now we have that beautiful, rich, sort of reddish brown color to our stew in our pot. And I turned the stove off. We are ready to plate this and taste it. Right, Janelle? What do you say?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that because I'm starving and I keep salivating over here. So now that we've finished plating our dish that we made earlier, we have the macaroni pie here. We have our stewed chicken with our red beans. We have our sweet fried plantains. And we also have an optional rice here, just, some steamed white rice. You can just put it on the stove for about 20 minutes and let it simmer away. That's always optional to eat with this dish. As you can tell, I'm salivating over here because I'm dying to try it. And then we also added in some greens for something a little healthy. It's something Kim and I grew up in Trinidad eating for Sunday lunches after church. And it's watercress. It's a part of the arugula family. It's a little bit on the bitter, spicier, I would say a little bit of a black pepper consistency. I think the flavor from the watercress actually goes really, and it pairs nicely with everything that we have on this plate right now. And the next thing that's left to do is to do a little taste testing with my cooking cousin over here, Kim. And now for the grand finale, we do our testing. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get a little bit of this.
Mmm.
It's so good. It's a little sweet, a little savory. It brings me back. Right?
It takes me back. It takes me back to that Sunday lunch that you come in from church and you usually have. Oh my God.
It's so good. The mac and cheese came out so nice. And really, you can taste that creaminess of the carnation milk and that cheese. Look at that crust on there. I mean, it's so beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, it really did come out really well. I mean, the cheddar cheese that I added in there really melted nicely with everything. Kim, I think you did a great job with the stewed chicken.
And let's take a look at the piece of this fried plantain. It's super crusty on the outside.
Do you see what it looks like on the inside?
It's sweet and sort of like a little like, yeah, moist too. It's really good. So each of these pieces, each of the parts of this dish works so nicely together. And you can have it not just for a Sunday meal, you can have it for dinner. It's actually all together, it's about a little over an hour to put together, to have on the dinner table. And I think that anybody would be able to enjoy this.
Yeah, I think it's a really easy dish to put together. You kind of could improvise as needed. You don't have to go through every step that we've tried today, but it's something that we grew up, you know, eating, and we'd love to share this experience with you, and I hope you guys enjoy.
See you next time.